GOOD Day. I'm Cys Bronner with Certainty Adventures Network, and I had a great opportunity yesterday that I thought I'd share with you. One of my business friends is going on a cruise that was actually a winning gift to him and a large group of other cruisers from the company that he works with. And so they asked me if I would meet with them yesterday and just do a Q&A. And to be fair, I didn't just do a Q&A. I started with some things that I knew and some tips. But it occurred to me this morning that if these questions were coming from first-time cruisers and long-time cruisers and not so much cruiser, that maybe I should pick and choose a couple of them and share them with you, right? And admittedly, they were going on Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Seas. A lot of these apply to just cruising in general, and one or two questions are that cruise specific. So let's get started. The first questions I have, and by the way, these are not in order, was how should we dress on board? I got to tell you, without sounding creepy, I asked them, what are you wearing now? Are you comfortable? Is this something that you want to be seen in public in? Or is it kind of the thing that, you're feeling like, oh, I'm going to hide in my closet. Nope. Nobody stumbles upon me because it's a greasy t-shirt and those kind of things. So my go-to answer about dressing on board for during the day and going out in daytime activities is dress comfortably and dress presentable. That's all you really need. The next question was still in the clothing realm. We get a lot of those, and you're probably wondering too. And that is, do I need to bring formal wear at all? There's two camps on this. One is I'm on vacation and I don't want to ever, get dressed up. And the other is I really like getting dressed up. So that means we have to define formal, right? What is formal to you? Gone are the days when there's a required tux, but I still see them, right? Remember, you always want to honor the event. I don't dress for grabbing a burger the same way I do for a private event. And I think that that's what you should look at, right? You should say, well, what am I doing that evening? Where am I going? And that even means for the MDR, the main dining room or specialty restaurant. What's the vibe, right? And what you do want to be aware of is that there's a lot of photo opportunities where you're going to want to get all fancied up to create those frameable memories. And for some of us, my besties and I will do a casual photo where we're all kind of wearing the same vibe and it's a little bit whatever. And then we are on a more formal night. It's a sea day. There's a lot of backgrounds that look kind of fancy. And so I have a lot of time to visit the spa and the salon before dinner, which I love to do. And that's my Pamper Me event. So we are going to get dressed up and we are going to look great, right? But dressed up is subjective. And so I wouldn't force it into a situation where you're not comfortable. But if you do want those memories, take advantage of it. Why not? Right? So another question I got was, what should I bring for the island's visits to wear? So we're still in this clothing realm here. And, we have a dress code in our office, and that is if somebody's coming into the office, Cys has to wear shoes. I really resist that. Mainly I'm walking around in flip-flops or flats at the very least. So here's my advice to you to bring to the islands to wear, and that's good shoes. Like everything else, there's a lot of walking to do. There's a lot of places you want to protect yourself. This is the time to really make sure that you're comfortable. If you are the flip-flop type person like I am, make sure that you get one that's a thicker and padded kind of curves and you're not going to get worn out. But I would still suggest that on your island days that you're wearing closed-toed shoes, that you're wearing sneakers or runners or trainers or whatever you're comfortable calling them. Loafers are also good, docksiders, that type of thing. The rest of it, not all islands are created equal as far as what time of the year it is. So as far as your clothing goes, I'm right back to be comfortable, be appropriate. And I always take a scarf or a hat wherever I go because I don't do well in the sun, right? It gets me hot and uncomfortable. You might want to consider that. Another question was, I love this one. My airline carry-on bag, or is a backpack better? I'll tell you my trick. And that is my carry-on bag sits on top of my rolling bag, my carry-on rolling bag. And that's got laptops in it too, because it's generally my husband Dave and I. And it's also got an extra set of clothes in there just in case my flight doesn't go the way it was planned or my luggage was lost or something like that. So I set a bag on top. And that bag has to actually slip over the handle. So we're only carrying one thing, right? And I put my backpack inside it. Why? Because there are times when I just want to grab my backpack and go. And going on the island is a great part of it. Going into another part of the ship where I think I'm going to be gone a great deal of the day. I've got my phones in there and my crossbody bag that I might be using and those type things. But it's not really enough for the carry-on, right? I want more stuff. Am I taking off my bulky shoes that I flew in because now I'm boarding the ship? So those are going to go outside the backpack and into the larger portion of the bag. And that bag still fits with airline qualifications or requirements. And I think it's a good way to be. Now, I might sound a little bit obsessive, but I think I've done enough of this and had all the failures that I want you to avoid to justify saying, take them both. It's not about overpacking. It's about being able to lighten your load at certain times and not running short. And the other thing that I put into my carry-on, you'll probably put your meds and things like that, is I take a very small bag of my favorite teas. In our house, we often use tea as medicine, right? Did my leg get swollen? So from the flights, am I having trouble sleeping? Just all of these other things. I'm not talking about replacing prescriptions, right? But there's nothing worse than traveling and not feeling great. And you definitely want to have your favorite sleepy time cup of tea. And the mints, spearmint, peppermint, they cover a multitude of not sins, things that you're going to want to take. So take a small Ziploc bag, about so big, right? And just put a couple bags of tea in there. Doesn't take up much room, and you're going to want that in your carry-on. I love this question. There's like 6 questions in here. All right. And that's, I heard that if you ask your concierge early that you can get a mattress topper, 2 bathrobes, ice bucket, a multiple plug-in outlet and extra hangers, but you have to be quick because there's a limited number available. Is it true? Well, yeah, it is. Maybe not the multiple plug-in outlet. That's, pretty much if someone left it behind and your steward has it. So you're not asking your concierge, you're asking your room steward. And I generally bring my own non-surge cruise-approved plugins and extra hangers. And you're doing this right when you get there, because remember somebody said, in this question, if you do it early. Remember to tip kindly. It's your first day. You've just met them. You're coming in. You're asking them to do extra things. And, when the beds are put together on some cruise lines, those pillow toppers are already there, but not all, right? And as far as a cruise-approved power strip goes, you need to remember that they have to be non-surge. And a lot of them are saying now that they should be USB ports only that you're plugging into. I'll probably leave some links in this for you to take a look at, including my favorite foldable travel hangers. When I've asked for extra hangers, sometimes they're running around and I've gotten hangers that weren't the best. They're not the same thing that are in the cabin usually for you. They might just be wire hangers from the laundry or something like that. And my clothes slip off of that. And I will also wash things in the sink. Don't tell. I will get sink suds. You can get these all off of Amazon, by the way. And I'll get for the laundry facilities, if it's a long cruise, I'll get dryer sheets. I hate, not dryer sheets, laundry sheets, excuse me. I absolutely hate bringing home bags of dirty clothes. So it's not what I want to do and do laundry when I get back. So I bring these with me as well. Just a little tip for you. Here's another question. So this group was coming from Canada. So they asked, what's the best anti-nausea pill to buy in the US and where can I get them and when? Those that don't make you tired. Well, you don't have to get them in the US. You can take anti-nausea pills across the border. It's not going to be a big thing. Dramamine is pretty much the global go-to. But to tell the truth, I'm pretty much, as I mentioned before, about natural solutions like ginger. You can actually get something that's chewable called gingins, or I'll have ginger chamomile tea. And on the ship, you can use green apples. Now, the green apples are pretty much gone in the morning because people know about that, some of the cruisers. So the day before, in midday, nighttime, I asked to see if you ask somebody if you can get a green apple for them, right? Have them, they can get it out for you. And there's a really great one that doesn't make you drowsy. It's from the makers of Dramamine. It's called Advanced Herbals. Advanced Herbals. It actually says non-drowsy, motion sickness relief made with natural ginger in there. My personal fave is, I'm pausing here. I want to pronounce this correctly. It's mesclizine. Nah, I'm mispronouncing it for you, right? This is a real video here. We're not going to pause. I'll spell it MECLIZINE. Right. And that's originally an antihistamine, which was designed to prevent vertigo. I have real bad vertigo and motion sickness. So this is really a good thing. And I first fell in love with it when someone in guest services was just chatting with me on a Carnival cruise. And that is decades ago. They still carry it. They suggest I try it. Princess Cruises also has it on board. But now I just get it off Amazon. I'm not going to take the chance, or I just spend my cruise waiting in line somewhere. And I will, you know what? I'll put that link out there for you too, but you'll get 200 chewable tablets off of Amazon. Okay. So now this is kind of a Royal Caribbean specific question. Can I order breakfast to my room for an unlimited amount for $7.50 and share it every morning? I heard that I can do that from a video. Well, thank goodness for the videos. But here's the thing with videos is things can change. So we have to take all of the videos and even this conversation we're having right now with a grain of salt. For one thing, it's gone up. It's $7.95. And this is a very cool thing. There's a door hanger for every cabin. If not, I want you to ask your steward in the evening. There's two sides to it. All right. Everything on the continental side is included. Just go ahead and order away. But on the other side, there's items listed under American breakfast. There's things like scrambled eggs, buttermilk pancakes, hash browns, bacon, and they all incur a $7.95 charge. Now that charge is just for the delivery and the one time. You can order as much as you like. It doesn't matter how many people are in the room. It doesn't matter what it is. So they're not charging the $7.95 per item. Just go ahead and order as many hot dishes as you want for a single price. By the way, I am a huge fan of Ziploc bags. There's so many times I use the Ziploc bags in there, and I'm going to tell you, bring bring some from all sizes, and make sure that if there's something you want to save for later, that you go ahead and you put it in a Ziploc bag and you can put it in your cooler or somewhere, right? Because you want to keep everything tidy and tucked away. You don't want all your leftovers to go to waste, right? We don't order just because we can. Well, maybe you do. Somebody asked me about, I need to keep in contact with my clients. What about cell phone coverage and Wi-Fi, and how does that work, and any suggestions? And we spent a long time talking about what they have to offer with Zoom, rhymes with Zoom. But here's my favorite thing to do. And that is, as soon as I board the ship, I don't want to think about my phones anymore. I go ahead and I put them into airplane mode, and I get into the ship's Wi-Fi. I don't worry about my cellular packages that I have, because cellular at sea and everything, that's all pretty pricey. And the minute that ship starts moving, and you might be busy at the sail away party, you could be in the spa, you could be anything, but you're going out to international waters, and it's not very far to the breakers where that clicks over, and it's quiet. It's not like you hear, "Gentlemen, start your engines up," right? All of a sudden you look out the window in the spa, getting your nails done or whatever's going on. You say, "Oh, are we moving? I didn't even notice that." So right away, go ahead and put yourself into airplane mode, whether or not you're utilizing Zoom or not. And how do I make calls and keep working? I'm a huge fan of WhatsApp. I have it on my cell phones. I have it on my business phone, my personal phone, and I actually have it on my stationary devices like my laptop. And so I can see all of that coming on, and I can utilize it, and it's just over the Wi-Fi. And so I don't have to worry, oh my God, I can't make a call because I'm going to have to use my cellular at sea and time it, et cetera, et cetera. Having said that, when I'm in a port and I'm out, I'm still using WhatsApp. I use it every single day. So if you don't have that, you might want to download it. And yes, your clients will have that number, right? I love this one. We were talking about whether or not you have to pay for non-alcoholic drinks, and there's drink packages everywhere, and don't worry, and there's non-alcoholic and there is alcoholic. And so the question in there came about was, does Starbucks charge? You betcha. Starbucks is on these cruise ships, just like they're everywhere else, to be a business. And because of that, if you love your Starbucks, you are going to pay additional. And I do have what is regular charge, what is additional charges, and we can do a video on that. If somebody puts it in the comments that they'd like to see it, I'd be happy to talk about that for different cruise lines. But on a Royal Caribbean cruise, complimentary non-alcoholic beverages include tap water, flavored water, brewed coffee, hot tea, iced tea, hot chocolate, milk, and lemonade. I mean, these are free drinks, and they're available at all the venues, like the Windjammer, not all of them, various venues, like the Windjammer buffet and the dining rooms. But those specialty coffees, the sodas, the juices beyond breakfast, and alcoholic drinks, they're not included, and they do require an additional purchase. And I could recap that, but we only have so many hours in the day, but I think you've got it. Feel free, if you've got specific questions, leave them in the comments, when you're also clicking on like and subscribe, and I'd be happy to answer them for you, right? I had a very specific question that surprised me, and this is why I want to share this with you. And it was, do the cabins have a safe, and what are the dimensions of it? Right away, when I saw it, do the cabins have a safe, I went, sure. And they said, what are the dimensions of it? And I went, ooh. So here is the company answer, right? The safe on Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Seas is an electronic stateroom provided and I'm going to trip over my tongue again. Real-time video, folks. The sail on Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Sea is electronic stateroom provided, and while large enough for a wallet, passport, or phone, It's generally not large enough for a laptop or expensive jewelry, because your rings and expensive jewelry, I guess, are bigger than your laptop. I don't know. It's similar to a small shoebox size and is best for small personal items you'd normally carry in a purse. The key characteristics are an electronic lock, and you set your own combination. And its purpose, as I said, is designed for small, important items like passport, wallets, cell phones, and other personal electronics. Okay, so that's the cruise line's response that I have read to you with a little bit of difficulty, but I was able to read them to you. But here's the thing. It's not just enough to take that, right? Because I know that it's bigger than this big, and it sounds like, the size of your checkbook kind of thing. So I went and I did some research on my own, and I actually found somebody in a video who took their iPads and decided we're going to see if they fit in the safe. Now, these are smaller iPads. If you're using like the big iPad Pro, like I use for creation and things like that, it's not going to fit. It's about the same size as my laptop. But they took the smaller iPad and they didn't put it in straight. They put it in on an angle, like my hand is. And then once it was in, they pressed it down flat. And it was a gentleman doing it. He took his wife's and he did the same thing on top of it, put it on top and pressed it down flat, and they both fit. Would I do that? No, I'm not. It's like I could break a nail trying to get those out. It could be difficult for me. It could be frustrating. I don't really want to worry about that. Would Dave do that? Absolutely. He doesn't really worry about that. If he's like, like a cat, whiskers in, it can come out. And I think that's fair. So you do you on the cruise. If you do break a nail, though, man, what a great reason to run down to the salon. There's other things that we spoke about, and I really love the cruise lanyards that are retractable. I don't always want to take off my lanyard or go close for the cruise card or those kind of things. So if I've got one that's retractable, and also it's got a breakaway, a snap off, so you don't have to wear it around your neck if you don't want to. I typically put things through a loop on my purse because I've got my crossbody bag with me at all times, because I carry 2 phones and I carry a couple other things like motion sickness meds, stuff like that. All right, and I'll fess up. I always carry tissues because I'm a mom and I'm just used to it. But I also get them in sets, right? More than one, because I'm getting for more than one person. Maybe I want to color code what I'm doing. But part of the set is they also come with luggage tag holders. And so when you print off your luggage tag before you leave and you're getting ready for your cruise, and you fold it around the handle and you staple it, whether you're going by car or by plane, those can get torn off. So they all have lines where you can fold it for that stapling, those same lines, fold it, put it in one of those plastic luggage tags, and it's got a little metal type thing that opens and closes, and you can put it around the handle. I also love it because if your luggage gets lost and they're separated from you, there's time for an identification for them to say, oh, they're on a cruise ship, right? And the other thing I do is I take an extra one of those and I put my contact details into it. And it's in a bright green color, which coincidentally we use for cruise planners as well, and our certaintyadventures.com agency, but it works out that way too, because then I know if I'm staying in a hotel or I want it to just be sent home, that they have that contact. So that's another great tip for you. Be careful if you're not following the link on this, or you're searching for it for yourself. For those plastic luggage tag holders, be careful that you're getting one for the right ship. Different cruise lines have different sizes that vary, and you want to be able to take them in and out. And you can use them again and again and again. We use them for a lot of things. I also, last bit of advice is, remember I mentioned the backpack that comes and goes with me that I've got inside there. It's a very, very lightweight backpack, but I might leave it on a bus. I might set it down next to me at an eatery on the ship or something like that. So I've got my contact details or how to find me in the luggage tag on that as well to make sure that we're set. And that's all the tips and tricks I have for you today based on the Q&A I just did. And I'd like to thank my friend who I don't know if I should be naming, but Rob Elan, for inviting me to do that with his group yesterday. It was great fun, and I'd love to do more of them. Have an amazing day, everyone. And remember, like and subscribe. That's how we get more.